Hello, everybody. Hi, who's there? Hi there. Hi. Thank you for joining me this afternoon or this morning. Hi there, everybody. Slowly getting there. Good afternoon, Facebook. Hi, Instagram. Hi, Chief. Was waiting for you. Can you hear me today? All right. Good afternoon and welcome to today's live lesson. Awesome, Chief. I'm really happy. So today we are going to be talking about, well, I'm going to be talking about, but you're always welcome to ask me questions. There's usually quite a bit going on, so I will try and answer some questions as I go. Otherwise, I will send you a message afterwards. So today we are continuing our streak with vocabulary, and we are talking about phrasal verbs, but we are going to be looking at common phrasal verbs that are used in uncommon ways. So, phrasal verbs, are they the bane of your existence? Probably. Well, I'm afraid that they are here to stay. And I don't know if you know this, but there are over 10,000 phrasal verbs in the English language. Over 10,000. I think that I probably use about, okay, let's be reasonable, about 50 to 60 phrasal verbs. And I'm a native speaker. And I don't think about it. So try and be kind to yourself when it comes to studying phrasal verbs. But let's get into it. A lot of time and energy is spent on studying phrasal verbs. And just like colloquialisms, these expressions are really, really important because they form part of our everyday English. So English that we use to talk with native, non-native speakers. We hear it on in movies. We hear it in the lyrics of music. And when native speakers speak, you hear the same as well. Hello, everybody that has just joined. Hello. So it's so common that many dictionaries like this have been developed to help students. This is a good phrasal verb dictionary, and you can look up a phrasal verb if it comes up, and it tells you everything that you need to know. But it's a dictionary, like, hello, Anna. It's a dictionary like all others. If it was as easy as studying a dictionary, we wouldn't be here today. So, as with all vocabulary that we use a lot and therefore commit to our memory, so are phrasal verbs. So last week we spoke about words that we learn instantly and we remember all the time. Simple words: happy, nice, hello, goodbye, you're welcome, thank you. Why? Because we repeat them a lot, and so they get committed to our memory. It's the same for phrasal verbs. So think of phrasal verbs like go out, take off, put on. Put on is probably the one that you learn first, right? Turn on, turn off, get out. Okay, there are more than 30 phrasal verbs with get through, get over, get together. There are tons, right? Think of come in, check in at the airport, hurry up, break up. So these are all phrasal verbs that you hear quite a lot. You learn them almost from a low level. So from elementary, you start learning these phrasal verbs. And so they become a normal part of your everyday English. But before I teach you how some of these common phrasal verbs that you have already learned are used in uncommon ways, which you might struggle to understand because they're out of the regular context, let me quickly go over what phrasal verbs are. But, how's it, Ian? Before I say what a phrasal verb is, can one of you tell me what a phrasal verb is? Chief? Anyone? Okay, so a phrasal verb is a phrase that indicates an action of kind. They are mostly used informally and in spoken English, although you can also see them in newspaper or in the written form. Hello, Jean-Paul. Nice to see you. Welcome. They consist of a verb plus either a preposition, for example, get up, or a verb and an adverb, like look forward. So the construction is very, very simple. Verb plus preposition or verb plus adverb. And it is a phrase that we use to talk about an action, in essence. There are 3 different categories of phrasal verbs. I'm going to go over 2 of them today, and I'll give you a sneak preview of the 3rd. All right, so the first type of phrasal verb is the literal phrasal verb. What does that mean exactly? Mazen, how's it? What is a literal phrasal verb? Anybody? Yes, Dingbat, you got it. Remember, Chief, it's not only a verb and a preposition, it can also be a verb and an adverb. Like look forward. Very good, excellent. Okay, so a literal phrasal verb is one that can be easily understood because you can recognize the meaning of each word. The regular sense of the word is combined with directionality of the preposition. So let's consider an example like, please sit down. So sit down is the phrasal verb. If I stand up, right, I'm just going to stand up like this. If I stand up, in which direction is the preposition? Down, right? Sit down. So the preposition indicates the directionality in which the verb is happening. Should I repeat that? The phrasal verb indicates the directionality that the verb is happening. Sit down, stand up. So it's a pretty easy way to remember that. If the directionality of the preposition or the adverb tells you how the action is being done, then it's a literal phrasal verb. Another example would be the books were sent back. All right, the phrasal verb is sent back. So what happened to the books when they arrived? There was no one at the school because the school is closed. So they were returned. So think of reverse, back. So that's the directionality of the verb. Sent back, reverse. Are you with me, guys? Yes, you can, but it's weird. I would not say, can you sit up? Unless you're saying, can you sit up straight? Sorry, this is a question by Jean-Paul. He asks, can you sit up? So sit up does not mean stand up. It means more like sit up straight. Don't slouch. So my mom would say, Nicoletta, sit up straight. So you would always have another word afterwards. Thank you for the question, Jean-Paul. So consider that literal verbs are easier to remember. Literal phrasal verbs, excuse me, are easier to remember because you've got the verb that is easy to understand, and you've got the preposition or the adverb, which indicates the directionality that the verb is happening. And remember that if there is no noun after the phrasal verb is intransitive. It means it cannot be split. For example, if I say, she took her bag out, the phrasal verb is took out. There's a noun, bag, and therefore we can split the phrasal verb. So they were sent back, on the other hand, the phrasal verb is intransitive because there's no noun after the phrasal verb. They were sent back. The noun is not mentioned. It is referred to by the pronoun. So we cannot split the phrasal verb. It remains intransitive. She took out her bag. Bag is the noun, and therefore took out, the phrasal verb, is transitive. We can split it. Okay, so very simple to remember. That was literal phrasal verbs. Now, the one that gives most of you guys headaches, the figurative phrasal verbs. They're the ones with idiomatic meaning. Sometimes the meanings are, well, they're unpredictable and they're vague. So you really have to rely on the context that the phrasal verb was used in order to understand its meaning. And sometimes they can be really, really cryptic. Not always, but sometimes they can be really tough to understand, even for native speakers. So let me give you some examples of ones that are not too cryptic, just to give you an idea. I carried out a few tasks this morning. So we know the verb carry is to bring something somewhere, right? Like you carry your bag. In this case, carried out is not used in that sense. So this is not a literal phrasal verb. Also, the preposition out doesn't tell us anything about, doesn't tell us the directionality of how the verb is being done, carried out. So you have to look at it from the context. And I carried out a few tasks this morning means that I accomplished, or I did, or I finished a number of tasks, a number of things. Think of a to-do list. So you carry out a to-do list. Another one would be, I thought of this one earlier on, the online lessons went off really well. Where did the online lessons go? They didn't go anywhere, all right? But they happened. They occurred. They transpired. And the phrasal verb went off means exactly that. We cannot translate this because even if we had to go back to its present tense, go off, the meaning is completely different. Go off means to walk away, or for something to go bad, something that we eat to go bad. So you really do need to take a look at the context. Let me repeat that. The online lessons went off really well. They happened and they were successful. Okay. I'm trying to say hi, Douglas, Carol, Kamish, Ayla. Hello, everybody. Please, if you have any questions, ask me. Okay, the third category, guys, the third category is one I'm not going to get into today because it's quite complex. I'm going to save it for another talk. It is aspectual phrasal verbs. So it sounds very fancy, but it's actually not. I promise you, it's quite simple once you get it. And what I can tell you is that aspectual phrasal verbs are very, very similar to the literal phrasal verbs, but the particles, so the preposition or the adverbs, indicate whether a verb is ongoing or finished. Yes? All right. So if you are interested in learning more about these phrasal verbs, I will be giving another talk about them. Just remember aspectual phrasal verbs. When you see that happening, join us so that you can learn more about them. So that is for another talk. An example of that would be the food was eaten up regularly. The food was eaten up hungrily. The food was eaten up hungrily. Eaten up is not literal. It's not figurative. It's aspectual, and aspectual verbs are quite similar to literal. Slight differences. So I'll get into that. Now, let's talk about those everyday phrasal verbs that you should know, that have some uncommon meanings. Well, they can be used in uncommon ways. So the first one is, I'm going to give you all of these phrasal verbs in context, of course. I'd like you to see if you can tell me what the phrasal verb means in this sentence. Okay. My online lessons took off well. My online lessons took off well. So took off. Think of the aeroplane. Aeroplane goes up. Right? So my lessons were good or bad? They were good. My lessons took off well. Next one. I check in on my mother every day. Check in. Very good, Anna. Yes, Jean-Paul. Check in. I check in on my mom every day. The phrasal verb is check in. So, check in this sentence means to make sure she's okay. I call her. I find out if she needs anything. To check in. I like to check in on my students every morning. I like to check in on my teachers every morning. Sometimes, yes, I know you can see her, but in this particular case, check-in doesn't really give you that option. It's more like it could be anywhere it could be you by telephone, it could be by email. Jean-Paul, why in? Well, this is why phrasal verbs, figurative and idiomatic phrasal verbs are a conundrum. It just is. We use the phrasal verb check in context to what we would like to say. So I am checking into my my flight, and I'm checking in on my mother. So checking in is doing the relevant documentation in order to catch your flight, documents, etc. Perhaps it's related to the fact that you have to give something to a hostess, or for checking in is maybe emailing. But when it comes to figurative, there's really no hard and fast rule as to why. It just is sometimes like that. Okay, the next one. My connection cuts off a lot. It has been happening to a lot of people. My connection cuts off a lot. All right. So it stops working. Yes, Chief. I love the new get-up at English 1. I love the new get-up at English 1. Correct, Anna. What do you think get up means in this case? So to get up, the literal meaning is, right, I'm getting up. But in this sentence, it's completely different. I love the new get up at English 1. Let me help you. Get up in this sentence means decorations, new furniture, something that you have added that looks good. Do you like my new get up today? I dressed up with my unicorn horn today. This is my get up. All right. The chair's legs gave out when I sat down. The chair's legs, so the legs of the chair, gave out when I sat down. What happened to the chair when I sat? What happened to the chair? It broke. So gave out means to break. Yes, Jean-Paul. Awesome. You're on fire. All right. I'm so tired. I really need to switch off. I really need to switch off. So, to close. To close. So we think of switching off our computer. We switch off the light. Here I'm switching off my. Yes, Jean-Paul, have a break. But what is having a break? Not the light, not the TV, my. What is switching off, Priscilla? Yes, very good. My mind, my brain. I need to switch off. Everybody does. Awesome. Who is that? Abdurrahman. Abdurrahman, is that you? My goodness, I'm honored. Wow. Good. All right. She couldn't hold back her tears. To hold back. I miss you too, Priscilla. So the tears came running out. She couldn't hold back her tears. Means that she couldn't keep them inside. They had to come out. Like when my very good Jean-Paul, but the opposite. Not retain, out. Hold back is to retain, but in this sentence, she couldn't hold back. So they came out. I'm so happy to see you guys. Well done for joining. All right. Listen carefully. He'll get his payback one day. He'll get his payback one day. Watch. Believe me, he'll get his payback one day. Payback. What do you think that means? Payback. Payback does not mean that you're going to give somebody their money back. Listen again to the example. He's going to get his payback one day for the things that he did. Yes, Abdurrahman. High five. He will get revenge. Well, somebody will get revenge on him, right? So, for example, if somebody steals money, right? Eventually, that person, that thief, something is going to happen to them. We call it karma. Payback. All right. After living wildly, she finally turned her life around. Turn around. So this is the literal meaning of turn around. Whee! Turn around. Turn around. Turn around. But not in the sentence. In this sentence, it has a completely different meaning. After living wildly, she finally turned her life around. Anyone? Turn around, turn around. So turn around means to change your life. So before she was wild and crazy, and now she is a Buddha and calm. And Abdul Rahman, you've got it again. I think I'm going too fast. I will slow down, I promise. Yes, everything has been changed. Very good. Well done. All right. Children should look up to their parents. Children should look up to their parents. So the literal meaning of look up is that. I'm looking up at the ceiling. Children should look up to their parents. Can anybody tell me about this phrasal verb? What does it mean? Jean-Paul, very good. He will regret it. Very good. For payback and changed. Very good. Children should look up to their parents. What do you guys think? Awesome, Jean-Paul. Respect. Exactly that. To look up is to respect, perhaps to admire. So I could say, I look up to my mom, who is my parent, but not only as a parent, also I admire her for what she has done in her life. All right? Very good. I can't stand it when someone talks over me. Talks over me. To talk over. Anyone? Sorry, I know that you heard that. I think you heard my WhatsApp bleeping. All right, so to talk over is when I'm talking and somebody, no, Abdurrahman, you got it, almost got it. Not talk about me. No, Jean-Paul, not say bad things. To talk over is when I'm speaking, and then as I'm talking, somebody interrupts and talks on top of what I'm saying. It's rude. It's a really rude thing. It's not necessarily interruption. It's more than interruption. Hi, guys. I have so many friends joining us. It's more than interruption. They don't even stop when you look at them and like, okay, well, I was talking. They just continue talking. Sometimes it can happen in classrooms where a student is maybe giving an answer and another one jumps in. That can be really annoying. It's quite rude. So take over. Talk over. So to talk over someone, that's rude. Right, don't do it. And the last one I have for you today, I was put off by the price. I was put off by the price. I want it, but the price. What do you think? I was put off. No, not discuss. No, yeah, Jean-Paul, disappointed, yes, but a bit more. So put off is really like you really don't want it anymore. It's negative. Put off in general is negative, where something sort of repulses you. If you're put off by the price, it doesn't repulse you, but it definitely deters you from buying whatever it is that you wanted. Okay. All right, guys. So those are some examples of phrasal verbs that have everyday use. And yes, you can't afford it, right? Or maybe you can, but you weren't expecting that it would be that amount. These are some of the phrasal verbs that are used every day, but in unusual ways, and there are so many. So I'm going to ask you now, tell me how you are going to learn how to use phrasal verbs like this. Like these. Excuse me. How are you going to learn phrasal verbs like these? Anyone? Hi, Casper. So, in case you were not thinking it, but I think you are, just like everything else regarding vocabulary, you have to learn it in context. And in order to hear these phrasal verbs in action, you really need to hang out with speakers of English. For these less commonly used phrasal verbs, you really do need to hang out with native speakers. And yes, watching films in English, Jean-Paul, thank you. Watching films in English, very important. Listening to music, although sometimes music can be quite poetic. The lyrics can be poetic, so they can be a little distracting. But yes, it's also a good option. There's no easy and fast way of doing this, but I can tell you that like vocabulary, studying and writing notes continuously and never using them doesn't help. So get online, get onto those chats. I know that everyone's online at the moment, so whether you're at a school or not, everyone, hello Abdullah, hi Abdullah. There is a live chat somewhere that you can join. Please do it, because this is going to be really important. Jean-Paul asks me if I can understand rap. No, generally not, because it's so fast, number one. And number two, I'm not really fond of offensive language, which rap often has. So I tend not to, but it's just like not my favorite type of music. I need to think about what sort of music we could hear this sort of language in. Let me make a note of that quickly. Very interesting, Jean-Paul. Thank you. Abdullah. Saad says yes, because they speak, but not like a normal way. What do you mean, Abdullah? Do you mean native speakers? Look, the thing is that speaking to English speakers, whether they're native or non-native, is really, really important. Remember that some non-native speakers speak way better English than native speakers. I am testament to that. I am surrounded by non-native speakers, some of whom are extremely proficient and blow me away with the type of vocabulary they use. So don't for a minute think that because they are not native speakers of English, that you can't learn from them. It's nonsense. You absolutely can, and I have. So that's a myth. All right. Some of the best English teachers I ever met were non-native speakers. So keep that in mind. Speak to as many Leonard Cohen. Aha, very interesting. Very interesting. All right. So, guys, I'm going to be continuing the streak of vocabulary, and this week for tomorrow we are going to be talking about how some regular words become slang. So it's such a cool talk. Please join me tomorrow, and we're going to continue with phrasal verbs and vocabulary for the rest of the week. Let me remind myself. Oh yes, I'm going to be talking about some of the secret ways for learning phrasal verbs, and also how you can include phrasal verbs and colloquialisms, which we spoke about yesterday, and we'll speak about tomorrow, without thinking. It's going to be very interesting. So we're going to continue that streak. In the meantime, I would like to remind you all that English 1 is online. We have amazing virtual classrooms with some fantastic teachers, as well as offering private lessons and other online services. So if you are interested in knowing more about this, I know that some of you guys have already joined us. You know who you are. I'm so excited. Please go onto our social platforms. We've got Instagram and Facebook. You can let us know via WhatsApp, via Instagram or Messenger if you want any information. Or you can also, there's the new one. I'm the new one here. Abdullah, I knew. There we go. Abdullah, and another student as well, but he'll have to say himself if he wants to let everyone know that he joined us online. Awesome. And if I'm not mistaken, Abdullah, you are in Australia. Is that correct? I think you're in Australia, which is pretty damn awesome, because it means that he gets up at 2 o'clock in the morning to attend lessons, which is awesome. Really awesome. Yes, there he is, Abdullah. Okay. So let us know if you want any information about it's not in Australia, it's another dude. All right. Let us know if you want any information about any of our lessons and services, and we will get back to you. And I've also launched some club lessons, and these lessons are happening every day at 3:30. If you want more information about that, you can also check out our social platforms. For example, on Monday we did Movie Monday Club, and we had a lesson based on a movie that needed to be watched at the weekend. Today we had a lesson based on an article, so world news, and tomorrow is an opinion-based lesson. So if you're interested, let us know, and we will send you the relevant information. For this week, they are complimentary, so please join us and see what it's like. Maybe you want to join us next week for our club lessons. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. All of the talks that I'm doing are recorded, and you can watch them again if you like. With that, I'd like to thank you all very, very much for having joined me. Yeah, Abdullah, my goodness. Abdullah has just woken up. He's in Australia. He woke up to attend lessons. Dude, you're amazing. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. And the other Abdullah is from Oman. Sorry. Welcome. It's wonderful to have you. Guys, thank you very much for having joined me. If you have just woken up like Abdullah, have a fantastic day. I hope that you have a wonderful day ahead and do many wonderful things. And for those of you that are wrapping up your day, I hope it was magical. If you are locked in your house like me, I hope you did some cool things, and I will see you all tomorrow. All right. Join me tomorrow at 5 p.m. for my next talk, which will be on words, regular words that have turned slang. See you tomorrow, guys. Bye.